Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan, and it is time for our Week 6 picks. But this week looks a little different because there's no Thursday game. Obviously we anticipated some schedule changes, but the league's done a good job maneuvering when necessary. So we've got a little different looking schedule this week, but still we've got some games and we're going to pick them, and that's what we do on this channel.
Yeah, that's absolutely what we do on this channel, and that's what we're going to do in this video, and we're going to do that right now, starting with Ryan's favorite team. It is the Texans playing the Titans. The Texans coming off their first win this season. Congratulations to Ryan for his team actually getting a win.
Been a while.
Beating the Jaguars. And then the Titans have not played yet when we're making this video. They're playing the Bills, so and hopefully they play. You guys probably know at this point. But anyways.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So, picking this game. This is kind of tough because you have Tennessee going into this, at least from my perspective right now. They're 3-0. Who knows the record soon? But they've looked pretty good. And Houston looked bad the first 4 weeks. They looked a lot better against Jacksonville. So, you know what? I think that with getting their head coach out of there, I think something will shift there. I think Romeo Cornell and the Houston Texans get their second win of the season. 24-20, they'll beat the Titans.
Well, I hope you're right. But I don't think you're right. I don't think the Titans are as good as advertised. And again, we don't know if they're 3-1 or 4-0 or still 3-0. We hope they got the game in. But there was improvement from the Texans last week, and you never know if they would have won with Bill O'Brien. People in the comment section on the Texans Instagram are trying to play that game. But, Romeo Cornell, good for him. The oldest head coach, even though he's an intern, oldest person to coach game in NFL history now at 73 years old. So certainly happy for him and the team, but I just don't think the Texans can win back-to-back. The schedule gets tough again. Jacksonville was a nice one-week fantasy. It'll be close. It's often interesting when these two teams get together, but the Titans win a good one, 26-24.
I think this will be a close game. I think the Texans looked a lot better than they had last week than in the previous 4 weeks of the season. And like you said, Ryan, the Titans are not as good as advertised, but I believe they're good enough to beat this Houston Texans team. I simply have them winning 27-22. All right, next game. So, yes, very simply, next game is the Bengals at the Colts. The Colts lost last week to the Browns in a very interesting game. It was a fun game to watch. At least the highlights, that's what I watched. A couple of mistakes from Rivers again, but the Bengals team looked awful against a good Ravens team. Joe Burrow was getting absolutely destroyed. The line wasn't doing anything. And this is a tough front to go up against once again. I think they'll take advantage of that. The Colts will, and they'll win this game 24-17.
Yeah, I don't think the Colts are that good, but you look at the way Cincinnati played last week. Joe Burrow was just running for his life, and he had some bad decisions too. Burrow did in that game, but I don't think that the Bengals offensive line is going to be able to hold their own against the Colts pass rush, and even the Colts offensive line. I think the lines and the battles of the trenches on both sides are really going to be the story of this game, and I think the Colts have the advantage in both categories. So I think that's really going to be the deciding factor. Colts win at 31-21.
You guys talked about it. The Bengals just did not look great last week. We're hoping that Joe Burrow can bounce back, but what I think is going to happen, I think that the Colts are going to get their saddles on tight, and they're going to ride over the Bengals 26-23. I hope Joe can recover, which he will. He's a great quarterback. He's going to do some great things in the future. But the Colts, they've looked pretty good right now, and I think that they're somewhat of an underrated team, especially because their defense is really good. Next one is the Atlanta Falcons, who lost again, this time to the Panthers, and the Vikings, who also lost again. They do have a win in their season, unlike the team that they're playing. But the Vikings, they look good on Sunday Night Football, and although they did not win that game, I think that was kind of a small victory. The fact that they held Russell Wilson and the Seahawks to 0 points in the first half, that is saying something. They schemed perfectly for that game. It went very well. They were not able to hold on in the end, but they did look a lot better when hopefully Dalvin Cook will be able to play. But even if he does not, Alexander Mattison and Boone, they played very well. This team is a run-oriented team, and that's what's going to ride on through this very bad Falcons defense and atrocious Falcons team. They fired Dan Quinn, but their new head coach, I don't know who it is.
Raheem Morris.
It's the defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris. Thank you. He's not going to get his first win. The Vikings will win 28-26.
Yeah, the Vikings have looked better the last 2 weeks after that 0-3 start. They're still, they went 1-1 in the last 2 weeks, but like you said, playing Seattle that tough, and they really had the right mentality. For the first, half of that game, and when the Vikings were doing good, they dominated the time of possession. They just let Dalvin Cook run. They dominated the time of possession. They didn't overthink it, and they just stuck to their game plan because Russ couldn't cook if he wasn't in the kitchen. So just keep that ball in your possession. That's what you got to do. They almost got it done against the Seahawks. But I think this team is better than that record. But if they want to get back in that NFC North division race, it's got to start this week because they've already got 2 4-win teams in that division. I think they get started on the right track, win their second in their last 3 games. Falcons stay winless. Vikings win at 27-20.
First off, I don't know. I'm not inside the Falcons organization, but why are you hiring your defensive coordinator to be your coach when your defense is the worst in the league?
Yeah,
doesn't
good
make
point.
much sense
That's
to me.
interesting.
I need to look further into that, but just looking at that at the surface, it looks a bit strange. That's all I'm going to say for now. Now, Dan Quinn is a defensive-oriented coach. I mean, even with the defensive coordinator being there, I'm sure he had a big input on the defensive side of the ball. So that could be negate to that, but keep going. Yeah, but not to get too much into that, we can get that into our podcast that we'll be posting on Wednesday. Same day you could be watching this. Yes, exactly. But with the Minnesota Vikings, they seem to be the perfect team to go against the Seahawks. They stayed in it. They've been staying in with the Seahawks for a couple years now. They're simply better than this Atlanta Falcons team, even with the new head coach. I think they'll win 31-23. Next game, the Broncos and the Patriots. This is the game we thought we would have seen already, but we didn't. This game got pushed back to this week. So I think we have the same result as what I said last week. I chose a different score just because it's a different week. But I think the Patriots win it 31-20.
I believe this is the same score I had when we did this pick in our last video because we thought it was going to be played then. Should be a fun game. A little uncertainty on who the quarterbacks will be on both sides. So, I mean,
I would assume Cam will be back.
Cam probably, and then, I don't know, will Drew Lock be ready? Probably not. I don't know. Who knows? But this should be an interesting game. I think Denver's another team that just the injuries have kind of haunted them this year. But I think they're better than that record shows. They will keep it close with New England, but in the end, Patriots win at 24-23.
Yeah, whether these teams are Camless and Drewless, regardless, I'm going to have the same result going down. I'm going to have the Patriots winning 27-17. You guys talked about it. The Broncos team just banged up right now. They're not bad. They're just very young. And the Patriots, they got Bill Belichick at the helm. He's not a quarterback, but he's their head coach, and he knows how to win games. If Cam comes back, he'll win it. And if Cam doesn't come back, he'll still win it with whoever he chooses to play. Stidham or Hoyer. Maybe Stidham again. We'll see if that scenario comes to us. Next game is the Washington football team at the New York Giants. The Giants almost got a win last week against the Cowboys. That was a very interesting game to watch. And the Giants have actually been in 2 games recently. They were in with the Rams, who were pretty good, and they were in it with the Cowboys, and even with the Bears when they played them too without Saquon. So the Giants, they're not looking good, but they've kind of been in games. And then Washington, the scenario with them, Dwayne Haskins, he was benched. Then came Kyle Allen. Then he got hurt. Then came Alex Smith. We'll probably talk about that at some other point in our podcast. Alex Smith coming back after that long injury. There's just a lot of question marks on both teams right now. It's an NFC least showdown, and I think the least of these evils is going to win, and that least is Washington. The score is going to be 18-14. Not a very high-scoring game, but one of these teams, they're fighting to win a division right now.
Yeah, both of them are right in the thick of things. Like I say, let's get the Texans in the NFC East, and we'd be right in the mix. But yeah, you mentioned both of these teams kind of bottom feeders, and I don't know if you knew this, but the last football team that won a home game at MetLife Stadium, the New York Guardians of the XFL. Let that sink in for a second. But you know what? That's not going to be true after Sunday because the Giants will finally win 23-20 over the football team. They've been close. There's been bright spots. Daniel Jones still has to get a lot better, but then again, they have had some unfortunate injuries. Obviously, Saquon Barkley, the most significant. But also, I mean, did your team draft an offensive lineman that caught a 2-point conversion? I don't think so.
I thought of you.
When I saw that, I was very happy. So, congratulations, Andrew Thomas, on your 2-point conversion. No one else in your draft class has done that at your position, and you're going to get your first NFL win, and your team will get their first win of the season. Joe Judge, first coasting win. A lot of firsts in this game. Giants win 23-20, in case I didn't say that.
We got the least of the least in this one. The 2 least teams in the leastest division, if leastest is a word, which it's not. Congratulations to Andrew Thomas on catching that pass, like Ryan said, but he's not winning this game. The Washington football team will win this game 20-17. Let's move on. the Baltimore Ravens at the Philadelphia Eagles. We got a battle of the birds here. And Baltimore came out firing last week against the Bengals and destroyed them. The Eagles tied with the Bengals. So you do simple math. You say the Ravens are going to win this game. They're the better team right now. And Carson Wentz and that offense looked a bit better. But this Ravens offense is too explosive. They'll win 33-24.
Alrighty. You know what this is?
An upset?
You know what this is? This is an upset. I am picking the Philadelphia Eagles, and I know they're in a horrible division and that they have not looked good, but they've played some teams tough, and they almost came back against Pittsburgh. Like, were able to score points in bunches.
Pittsburgh let them back in, though.
Well, they took advantage of those opportunities, and I really think that Philadelphia, they're always one of those teams that just when it seems like it's going to go completely south and it's just going to spin out of control, they always, are able to dig deep and find that extra gear and get that big win and somehow stay in the playoff race. And I mean, how do you get out of the playoff race in the NFC East? But, I think that this is just a upset special. I really think that Philadelphia, I don't think they're, a Super Bowl contender, but I think they still have stuff left to prove. And I think that Baltimore, I mean, Lamar Jackson's not doing bad, but I think teams are starting to keep him in the pocket a little bit more. Even the Texans did it when they played, so that says something. This will be a fun offensive shootout, but I got Philadelphia taking it in a big upset, 34-31, but it will be a fun, high-scoring game.
Yeah, Tyler talked about this being a battle of the birds. And Ryan, if I was thinking logically about these birds, I do think that an eagle would beat a raven. Just think about it, an eagle would be bigger. Now, it does depend on the species of eagles. There are some eagles that are bigger than others. But I think an eagle will win this matchup. However, I'm not going based off of logic here. I'm going based off of football logic, not animal logic, football logic. And football logic tells you that the Baltimore Ravens are going to win this game, just like they beat the Bengals last week. They destroyed them 32-20. Philadelphia looked better, but they're not going to beat this team, right? Ryan thinks otherwise. 32-20, like I said, the Ravens will come out victorious and be the underdog bird to win in the animal matchup. In the football matchup, not underdogs. Anyways, next game is the Browns at the Steelers. This is a good AFC North matchup. It's important. It is important. We saw one last week with the Bengals and the Ravens, like I just talked about. Ravens smacked them down. This one I think is going to be closer. The Browns have looked very good recently. They lost their first game, then have won 4 straight. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers have not lost a game yet. They are undefeated and looking great right now. This is going to have some big implications on this division. They're all fighting for it with the Ravens right now. In fact, the Steelers are above the Ravens because they have not lost yet. So this is going to be a big game. I have the Steelers winning this game 31-28 with Nick Chubb out. It's a big loss. Kareem Hunt, he filled in nicely, but I feel like they need him there. Steelers defense is just too good. I think they'll stop Baker, and I think the Steelers offense will continue to put up points. I don't think Claypool's going to do as good as he did last week, but that's very hard to do. So 31-28, I have the Steel Curtain beating the Browns and Baker.
This is an awesome game. Like, I cannot wait to see what happens here. It could really go either way. But I think when you look at the Browns, even with that injury to Nick Chubb, they're still getting done what they need to get done. They've won 4 straight. Baker Mayfield.
1 week since the injury.
I know, but still, they looked fine on offense, and now that's 32 points, beat a good defense. So I think that they're doing just fine. And honestly, this is kind of what I expected from them. Baker Mayfield, there was a little injury scare, but he said he's fine. Kareem Hunt, he could be a starting running back somewhere else, but he's happy with that committee role in Cleveland. This will be a fun one. Key matchup: Browns offensive line versus that great Steelers pass rush. The Browns offensive line is doing better than expected with some of the additions they made, and even with some of the incumbent guys. This is a fun matchup. There'll be a lot of huge AFC North intra-division games from now on because of how competitive that division is. Going to be fun. Browns win it 28-24.
This is going to be a good game, like you said, Ryan. I am pumped to see this game. Probably won't be able to watch it because I don't think it's going to be on the TV because I'll be watching the next game. We'll talk about that in a second. But the Steelers looked really good, and so did the Browns. You have to watch that game against the Colts. Their offense looked good. Usually it was their defense, and it wasn't just the running game. Baker Mayfield was making plays, getting out of the pocket, and doing things by himself. That's what you need to see out of him. That's scary, but not scarier than that Pittsburgh Steelers team. I think they win this game 32-27. Shout out to Chase Claypool, who finally had his breakout game I was waiting for so long. It wasn't just a breakout game.
Yeah.
I mean, he broke out, and then he ran all the way to, Jupiter. Yeah. I was one of the rare people that had him on my fantasy team. He sat on my bench and got 32 points. That's how
I mean, to be fair,
ready I was.
Like, that's not like a horrible thing to mention.
No,
Like,
it's
you
not.
could not have anticipated.
But I drafted him and was waiting for this moment, and it finally arrived. Let's move on to the next game. The Chicago Bears.
I
almost dropped him. I didn't want to mention that part. Chicago Bears at the Carolina Panthers is the next game. Now, this one I'm not quite sure about. The Panthers are a team that you look upon, and they're kind of the upsetter. I think Ryan has mentioned this a couple of times, but they're going in and playing pretty good teams and upsetting them. Last week they played a bad team in the Falcons, but that's a different story. This is in Carolina. The Bears are now 4-1. I think it's going to be a close game. The Bears will win it in Bears fashion in a close game, win it 23-20.
Yeah, you mentioned it about Carolina. They somehow find ways to not only stay in some games, but even, win some games. They're 3-2 right now. They've won 3 straight. So really, really sitting pretty for Carolina. They're looking good. And the Bears, I mean, they're 4-1. I mean, that's a fact. But, some of the games, hasn't been,
It's the NFL. Every game is tough.
No, I know. I'm saying, yeah, you're 4-1. I'm not saying you're a bad team, but not all of the wins have been pretty. But they've gotten it done, and it'll be another close, hard-fought game on both sides. Carolina's not a team that opponents should expect to be able to walk over. They're competitive. They're tough.
I think the Bears know that.
I think they do too, especially with the way they've played in the last few weeks. But even without CMC, this is not a team you could just walk over. Teddy Bridgewater looking better, finally having a team at his helm. It'll be close, but Chicago wins it 22-17.
If I actually had to make a decision on this game, it would be tough if I had to choose the Bears or the Panthers. But the fact is, I choose the Bears every week, and I'm going to do it again. They looked good last week. I did not think they're going to win that game with my mind. With my heart, I picked yes, and they won. Thank you, heart. I'm trusting the heart again. I don't know if I should as a Bears fan.
At some point,
learn not to trust your heart. But I'm doing it anyways, and I'll continue to do it the rest of the season. It's going to be a 1-point game again, 24-23. They will beat the Carolina Panthers. And I said Carolina this time.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
We did it.
Yay!
We still got the Cardinals.
Yeah, I know.
Next game is the Detroit Lions coming off of their bye week, and the Jacksonville Jaguars coming off a loss to Ryan's Houston Texans. The Jaguars, they looked all right last week, but really was not that good. And we got Matthew Stafford, Kenny Galladay coming fresh off the bye. I think they'll do some good things offensively and even defensively. Maybe Jeff Okudah will get another pick in this game. I have the Lions eating the Jags. Oh, battle the Cats. One of these cats is blue and should not be blue in nature, but it is. 27-23, the Blue Cat wins.
Yeah, I think when you look at this game, these teams, both kind of bottom feeders, but both teams that, have their moments, I'd say. But, look, I think that there's going to be a couple games this year where Matthew Stafford is just like, fine, I'm going to do it myself. He does not want to lose. He is just in an unfortunate situation. You got to feel for Matthew Stafford. He's been so good for so long, but never ever really quite got the attention he deserves because he has never really been on a contending team, at least not for a long while. This is going to be an interesting game. Jacksonville did not look great on defense last week, although they did have some significant players out, such as C.J. Henderson and Josh Allen. I think that the Jaguar secondary gets exploited again, even though some of those guys might be coming back. Detroit wins it. Matthew Stafford has a big day. High-scoring game, 37-30 Lions.
All right. Now it's my turn. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they're not looking very good. They had that good Week 1 game, and everyone was hyped about it. Oh, Minshew Mania, wow, this Jaguars team isn't garbage. Well, I mean, let's just be honest. From what we've seen after that,
they're not absolute
and they
garbage.
remember they're the Jaguars.
Yes. To quote Dennis Green, they are who we thought they were. Thank you. I could not get that quote out. But I just don't see it. The Lions are a more capable team in a lot of aspects, I think. Like you said, Matthew Stafford will be able to get this team ahead, even if they're not willing to do so. So I have the Lions winning this game. I pull up my score. There it is, 24-19. Let's move on to the next one. The winless Jets at the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins shocked me, not necessarily you guys. I bet they shocked you. You both picked them to win.
I didn't expect them to win that much.
I don't think anyone did. They looked really good again. We've seen it a couple of times, really, where this team seems to have a lot of potential. And this Jets team stinks. So this is a no-brainer for me. I'm choosing the Dolphins 30-21.
Yeah, Dolphins, really impressive win last week. Even though the 49ers do obviously have some significant injuries. They didn't just beat them, they demolished them. And I think this Miami team, they're always ahead of schedule. The year they were supposed to go 0-16, they won 5 games. The year they're supposed to go around 5-6 wins. I think they're going to contend for a playoff spot. And if they win this game, which I think they will, They're going to be 3-3, so they're right in the mix right now, especially with this new format. Watch out for Miami as a dark horse team to sneak in down the stretch. Dolphins win 33-24.
Marco Guas, if you're watching this, I'm jumping on the Dolphins train with you. I've loved what I've seen from them. I expected them to win last week, and they didn't just win. They destroyed the 49ers, who did not look good, but that's besides the point. We'll get to them in just a second here. The Dolphins looked good. Their offense looked good. Their defense looked good. Devontae Parker played good. Mike Gesicki had a big catch. Some really good things going on in that game. I think the Dolphins are going to continue to do it because, well, first of all, they're playing the Jets, and I think they're a pretty stinking good team right now. I know maybe they'll make the playoffs. I don't know. I think there's a shot. We'll get to that as the season progresses on. But they'll win this game 32-14. They'll smack down the Jets. As the Jets are a green team, we'll move to Green Bay and the Packers, who were on bye last week, playing Tampa Bay. We got the Battle of the Bays, Green Bay and Tampa Bay. Yeah. Just realized it as I said it. Tampa Bay. I just want to say that. We have Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. That's always a good matchup, whether Tom Brady was on the Patriots or whether right now he's on the Buccaneers. It's going to be a good game, I think. An offensive showdown, But Aaron Rodgers, he's played lights out so far. Devontae Adams should be back for this game, I think. And the Packers are just playing phenomenal right now. I can't pick against them. And the Bears beat the Bucs. I mean, wow. So that makes my confidence in them go down a little bit. So I have the Packers winning 30-26 in the Battle of the Bays.
I had a tough time with this game, picking this game, because you got the undefeated Green Bay Packers coming off of a bye week. Aaron Rodgers is already doing awesome things with guys that most people haven't heard of until about 2 weeks ago. And he's probably going to have Devontae Adams back, I think. Probably. Unless something changes. And Tom Brady's thing, yes, that's scary, but, you know.
It's just the truth.
Yeah, got to take it into account. And then on the other side, you got Tom Brady. He's probably going to get Chris Godwin back, so, wow.
And hopefully Mike Evans is at full strength.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, too. He definitely was not. You know, I really had a really tough time. This was the toughest decision of the week for me picking this game. It should be a fun one. I'm almost. It has to be the game of the week. I think. I'm sure Joe and Troy will be calling this one unless there's some weird change. Gonna be a fun one, but ultimately, I just cannot pick against Aaron Rodgers right now with what he's doing. You cannot do it. Look what he's doing with guys. Like I said, you haven't heard of him until 2 weeks ago. Awesome game.
What's new though? He's always been doing it.
Yeah, I know, but it's just come to light a lot in 2020. Packers win a thriller 34-30.
Let's give this Packers team some credit. I know Tampa Bay is good. They're better than they displayed on Thursday night against the Bears. But this Packers team seems to be unstoppable right now with what Aaron Rodgers has been doing. And with a little bit of a fall from Russell Wilson, he didn't throw 5 touchdowns. There's a chance you
only
could...
3.
Only 3 touchdowns he had.
17 fantasy
I'm getting closer and closer to saying Aaron Rodgers is my MVP right now. I think he will get that done and prove me... or make that decision, and the Packers will beat the Buccaneers 35-28. No field goals in this shootout game.
Aaron Jones is going to score 3 times in that game.
Ooh. No, Aaron Rodgers will score.
He'll score 1 receiving touchdown and 2 rushing touchdowns. 1 will be for over 30 yards.
Interesting.
Well, we'll come back to that clip and see if he's right.
Yeah.
That's highly doubtful, but that's impressive if you get it right. Next
I think
game is the Rams at the 49ers. This is another divisional matchup that we'll be seeing on Sunday Night Football. It should be a good one, you would hope. Hopefully the 49ers can get their stuff together, to put it lightly. On offense, it didn't look good. Jimmy Garoppolo looked bad. Nick Mullins looked bad 2 weeks ago. C.J. Beathard seems to be the only guy who's playing at a consistent rate.
They actually were coming back with that.
It was ugly in the Rams. They came back after an ugly week against the Giants 2 weeks ago. They looked better. I think they keep their winning streak going, win 34-30.
It's Sunday Night Football, and what a shocker! It's the NFC West. Like they never do any NFC West teams ever. I mean, right? No, but like the Sunday Night Football has had a weird obsession with the NFC West this year. But hey, it's a good division. I have no problem with it. It's just something that I've noticed through this early part of the season. Going to be a close game, but look, San Francisco you had a little meltdown last week, which is get back to your roots. Play 49er football, even though you got the injuries. Play good defense. Keep yourselves in the game and run the football. If Jimmy Garoppolo is not doing well, if Nick Mullins isn't doing well, if whoever it is, you cannot find the right guy to get that passing offense going, that's okay. Run the football. That's how you got to the Super Bowl last year. Run the football. You have a great offensive line. You have a nice group of running backs. You're even using your receivers like Brandon Ayuk in some creative running plays. That's cool. Do that. Play 49er football. I think you will play 49er football, and I think you win this game and get closer in the NFC West race. Going to be a tight one again. A lot of close games this week, in my opinion. Niners win 21-20.
You talked about the NFC playing on Sunday Night Football. We haven't seen the Cardinals yet, but we've seen both of these teams already, and they're back to play again. Ryan, you were talking about the run game with the 49ers. I just wanted to pitch in on that because, of course, they need to run the ball. That is their team. It's like the Vikings, basically. Their team is running the ball, but they have a very, very, very great tight end in George Kittle. Get the dude involved. That's why you look so good 2 weeks ago on Sunday Night Football, because you were getting him involved. I don't care if you lost that game. He was involved. He was playing great, and you need to get him involved in the game. I don't care who the quarterback is. Throw George Kittle the freaking ball, please. George Kittle's not going to win this game, though. The Rams are going to win 28-20. Now to Monday night game. We've got 2 Monday night games again.
That's currently as we're making this. The schedule switches around every 3 minutes.
Things can change, yeah.
So we got the Chiefs and the Bills playing. They were supposed to play on Saturday?
Thursday, then Saturday, now Monday. I lost.
I don't know. So anyways, they got moved to Monday. And I think this is going to be a really good game. Josh Allen having an MVP-like season. And Pat Mahomes coming off a bad loss to the Raiders. I mean, it wasn't a horrible loss, but it was a loss to the Raiders. And they were not expecting to lose that game.
That's their biggest loss in 3 years, at least.
Yeah, by 8 points. So they're coming into this game with a grudge. They desperately want to win. There's going to be a lot of points put up, but the Chiefs are going to reign victorious. Clyde is going to score 34-31. The Chiefs will win.
This is an awesome game. As soon as I saw this game, on the schedule when it came out back in April or whenever it was, I was really looking forward to this game. Going to be a fun one. I think it's an AFC Championship preview. I said that from the beginning. So, from the beginning, yes, I said that. All the way back to when we were doing our preseason predictions on our live stream. I think Buffalo's a team that matches up with Kansas City really well. I think they have a quarterback in Josh Allen who's playing the best football of his young career. They have a nice, nifty running back in Devin Singletary, and Zach Moss, the rookie, is making plays well. They have a downfield speed receiver like Stephon Diggs, so kind of like their version of Tyreek Hill. And you know what? Kansas City's going to lose back-to-back games. Going to be close, going to be fun, but Josh Allen is going to keep doing what he's doing and get the biggest win of... Honestly, if he beats Kansas City in primetime, you could possibly say that's the biggest win of his career. Big game. Bills win 28-24. AFC Championship preview. Mark my words.
I desperately want to agree with you. I think this could be an AFC Championship. I will slightly say that's a possibility. I would not be surprised at all if that's what it is. But I want to agree with you and pick the Bills in this, but I can't do it. The Chiefs are mad right now. They have not had a loss like that in a long time. They're going to want to come back from that like they're better than ever. I think Buffalo will stay in this game. It'll be the Josh Allen show in this one. He'll be able to show the world what he's able to do. Put himself back in the MVP conversation if he even ever left it. I don't think he ever did. But the Chiefs ultimately will win this one in the end, 38-33. Last game, the Cardinals and the Cowboys. I sat here looking at this game for a good 5 minutes, just deciding who I was going to put that green dot next to signify who was going to win this game. I think it's going to be very close, especially now with Dak Prescott being out. Prayers, I'm guessing, from all three of us out to him. I would sure hope so. That he can get back on the field better than ever. We make Cowboys jokes all the time about how we make fun of the America's team and all that, but this is serious. Dak Prescott was a great player and a great human being while he was on the field, and he still is. So we hope the best for him. I wanted to say that, but I think the Cowboys will lose without him. It's a big loss. I think the Cardinals will win in a high-scoring game, 33-32, but prayers go out to Dak Prescott.
Yeah, first of all, want to, as you said, wish well for Dak Prescott. Hope the recovery goes well and he gets back to playing football when he's ready. So yeah, this is definitely an interesting game, especially with the Dak Prescott injury. But, the Cowboys backup is not your average backup. Andy Dalton has been around this league for a long time, a lot of experience. He's gotten teams to the playoffs after that. But, he's been around this league for a long time. And this is a guy who's been a starter. And I think he's one of the better backups in the league. And at the end of the day, he was able to step in at the end of that game last Sunday and help the Cowboys win. He got them in field goal range at the end. So this is a more than capable guy. And I think that they're going to be able to work around the unfortunate injury to Dak Prescott and get this win on Monday night over the Cardinals, which, I know they beat the Jets, but that's the Jets. And they've been in a little slump, haven't looked as clean and as pure and as flashy as some people might have expected. Dallas wins in the first Andy Dalton start of the year, 26-23.
Yeah, congratulations to the Cardinals for beating the Jets. Great job by you. Just kidding. That's easy. But just had to say it. But coming into this game, really the saying for this game is that Andy Dalton and Dallas are going to be doing it for Dak, and not just this game. I think the saying going on, the phrase that is going to ride Dallas for us, however far they go, whether they make it to the playoffs, they win this NFC East division, whatever happens in the future, it's going to be do it for Dak. Dallas doing it for Dak, because that injury was bad. I had goosebumps when he's getting carted off the field, and all three of us, like, we've made our memes toward the Cowboys in the past, and even this year we kind of like them a bit more, I feel like, but it doesn't matter who it is. Any player that goes down with an injury like that, it's not good. I had goosebumps when it happened, and we wish the best for Dak. So the Cowboys are going to be doing it for Dak. Dallas is going to be doing it for Dak. They'll be doing it and getting 27-24. The Cowboys will win on Monday Night Football.
All right, so there it is. Week 6 already. There's our predictions for that. Not technically in the books as we make this yet, but will be soon. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell to be notified every time we post a video. Comment your opinions about today. Well, yes, I'll get there. Make sure you comment down below about who's going to win these games, or what you thought about what we said, anything like that. Make sure to go listen to the podcast that will be posted today if you're watching this on the day it's posted. And with all that, we will see you guys later.
See ya.